All right, welcome to part 2 of the Algebra Chapter 2 test review. And I started on 16 but didn't get very far in the last video. The first thing we want to do is look at the first part from left to right since it's addition and subtraction. We've got a negative 5.7 and a positive 3.1. And if you remember back to the game that we played, red would be the negative and black would be here. And when they're different like that, we would subtract them. And 5.7 minus 3.1 would give us 2.6, and it would be negative because the larger number has a negative symbol. Then we've got a negative 2.6 subtract 8.6, and we can change this to a negative 2.6 and add the opposite of 8.6, which is a negative 8.6. Now we've got two red cards, and so we add them together. And that gives us negative 11.2. Here is 18. Negative 23 over 36 minus the absolute value of a negative 4 over 9 plus the negative 7/12. The first thing that I'm going to do is rewrite this as a negative 23 over 36 minus, and then we'll do this absolute value, which is the distance to 0, which would be just 4/9, plus a negative 7 over 12. Now we need to get a common denominator, and our common denominator is going to be 36, so this one stays the same, negative 23 over 36 minus, and 9 times 4 is 36, so we'll multiply the denominator by 4 and the numerator. It would give us 1636. And the last part, we have to get a common denominator. So we would multiply everything by 3. That would give you a negative 21 over 36. So now we have a negative 23 minus 16. And if we add the opposite, that would be a negative 23 plus a negative 16. So we're going to add them together. That gives us a negative 39, 36 plus a negative 21, 36. Once again, these are red, so we're going to add them together. That gives us negative 60 over 36. The last thing we have to do is change this into a mixed number. 36 goes into 60 one time, so it would be a negative 1. And then we have to figure out what's left over. That would be 24, 36. And then can we simplify 24, 36? Well, 12 goes into both of them. 12 goes into the numerator 2 times. 12 goes into 36 3 times. So our final answer is a negative 1 2/3. On number 20, we're asked to find the sum and the difference of the matrices. And so the first one we'll do is the sum. Starting with this location, a negative 2 plus a negative 1 would give you negative 3. 5 plus a negative 6 would give you negative 1. 9 plus 11 would give you 20. Negative 3 plus a negative 2 is negative 5. 10 plus a negative 7 is 3. 0 plus 1 is 1. So the matrix, after we add them together, is negative 3, negative 1, 20, negative 5, 3, and 1. The second part is to find the difference. So we have a negative 2 minus a negative 1. That would be the same as negative 2 plus 1, which would give you negative 1. 5 minus a negative 6, which would be the same as 5 plus 6, which is 11. 9 minus 11, which would give you a negative 2. Negative 3 minus a negative 2, which is the same as negative 3 plus 2, which would give you negative 1. 10 minus a negative 7 is 17. And 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Here's problem number 22. 5 times a negative 8. Well, we know a positive times a negative is going to give us a negative. And 5 times 8 is 40. So the answer is negative 40. (24) says a negative 1 times 9. Once again, a negative times a positive gives us a negative. 1 times 9 is 9. The answer is negative 9. (26) Negative 14 times a negative 0.3. Negative times a negative is a positive. 14 times 0.3 gives us 4.2. 28, negative 3.2 times a negative 10 times 2. We'll start out with negative 3.2 times a negative 10. A negative times a negative equals a positive. So this would be 0.32. Then 0.32 times 2 gives us 0.64. On this problem, I accidentally moved the decimal point in the wrong direction. So we're going to start over. Negative 3.2 times a negative 10 would give us a positive 32. 32 times 2 gives us 64. So the answer is 64, not 0.4. Starting with the left side, we've got negative 12 times 2. Negative times a positive is a negative. That would give us a negative 24. Negative 24 times a negative 0.5. Negative times a negative equals a positive. So the answer is 12. 32 11 times a negative 1 times a negative 7 times a negative 3. And we're going to start over here at the left with 11 times a negative 1. 11 positive times a negative is a negative. 1 times 11 would give you a negative 11 times negative 7. A negative 11 times negative 7 would give you a positive 77 times a negative 3. Negative times a positive gives us a negative 231. (34) asks us to use the distributive property to solve. And so in this problem, 34, we're going to distribute the 9. So we're going to first do 9 times y. 9 times y is 9y. The operation comes straight down. 9 times 6 is 54. Because there are no like terms, our answer is 9y plus 54. 36, we've got 3.2 minus w in parentheses, and we're going to times the whole thing by 2. So we're going to distribute the 2. So we're going to take 2 and times it by 3.2, which gives us 6.4. The operation is going to come straight down. Minus 2 times w is 2w. And there are no like terms, so this is where we will leave this. 38 says a negative 2 times the group s plus 13. Using the distributive property, we're going to distribute this negative 2. So a negative 2 times s would be a negative 2s. The operation comes straight down. Plus a negative 2 times 13 would give us a negative 26. Number 40, we would take this negative x and we would times it by 3/7. And so that would be a negative 3/7 x. Then we have to take the negative x and distribute over here. So this would be plus a negative xy. And you could leave this problem like this, or you could write negative 3/7 x minus xy.